Hey there, all my Rotation 411 astrology subscribers. So I'm going to give it a moment because often in the replay, the first, as I said yesterday, a few sentences get cut off. I'm just going to hop on here really quickly today. I had a whole hour planned for things to talk about. I might kind of go over a couple of them really quick, but I have family coming into town for the weekend. So I told you guys there was like this terrible noise when I woke up yesterday morning, and it was actually a little girl outside. The neighbor girl was screaming, and it sounded like a stuck pig. It was like, it was the worst noise, and I thought it was a mouse in the house, so like stuck under something, and I was like, oh my gosh, mouse. So it woke me up wide awake, but it took me all day to figure out what was going on, and I had stayed up late editing the Love at First Sight Part 2 video. Also, my microphone was cutting out a little yesterday, so I don't want to, I have to figure this out and get a new mic. But anyways, so I would like to come on tomorrow, but because I have family in town and this room is going to be used, there's a huge king size bed in this room. I just finished washing all the sheets and making. I probably won't be on until Sunday evening. So depending on how that goes, I was thinking, contemplating, I just ran to the store, and on the way home I was contemplating, like, should I try to do the Scorpio Sun Aries Moon Sunday night? We'll see how I'm feeling, but I might have it in me. So I might come on and then do that. So I just want to say, yesterday when I was talking about, it got cut off at the end again, and my battery was low, so I'm not sure if that's why. And my storage is always full on my phone too, even though I have it all backed up. So I'll work on that too. But yesterday I was talking about how I knew the dignity that that Saturn is exalted in Libra. And forgive me, sometimes I'm a little dyslexic when I'm doing astrology. I'll be like, this sign is in this planet, and the reality is that planet is in that sign. But when I was doing that quickly, I was kind of like under a time restraint with the battery dying and everything. So the way that I was thinking that I knew that Saturn is exalted in Libra, it's not a real formula. It's not like we always know what the full moon sign is going to be based on what the sun sign is. It's always the opposite sign, right? Because when the moon is full, the sun is shining the brightest on it. So during Aries season, it's Libra is the full moon. This month it's Scorpio season, so Taurus will be the full moon, and then the new moon is always in Scorpio. Little tricks like that. It doesn't actually apply to figuring out the exaltations. I just did that by my own deductive reasoning because I know most of the exaltations. So the way that I did it yesterday, just in case you were curious, which isn't, again, applicable across the board like the full moon or the new moon type of thing, or like modalities, you can kind of memorize, 12 divided by 4 is 3. There's 3 modalities. There's 4 elements. I love going through all that, but that's very fundamental astrology. So, if you guys want me to break that down for you, I'm sure a lot of you that follow me are a little beyond that at this point, but if you're not, I would love to do a video on it. I did have some that I did years ago that I was going to upload, but let me just make sure this is plugged in real snug. What I did is I go, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. And then I went, is Saturn exalted in Aries? No, the sun is. So then I went, oh, maybe it's Libra. And that was how I figured that out yesterday. And I've seen it before. It just isn't one that I have memorized off the top of my head. So anyway, I also mentioned yesterday that one of you, and I'm not sure, it's Alicia is the handle, and then I think like a dash and some numbers. I'm not sure if you're watching the lives as well, but she did eventually respond to the comment and about her parents and their moons being in neighboring signs. So I was telling you guys, oh, maybe out of sign moon conjunctions do work, because I'm starting to find evidence of it, because this couple that was married 50 years, we can't confirm, but the median does look like it's going to be about a 3-degree orb semi-sextile. Not an out-of-sign conjunction, but it is possible it could be a wide out-of-sign conjunction. But we can't confirm or deny that at this point. So then when she said her parents were in neighboring signs, it was kind of like, so the couple that I found, and I totally messed this up the other day in the live, but he was above her with dignity-wise. So I told you guys that usually he'd have to be in the supporting role in Vedic astrology. So he was in Aries, his moon, and her moon was in Pisces. And David and Victoria Beckham. His moon's in Aquarius and her moon's in his moon's in Capricorn and her moon's in Aquarius. So his is supporting the couple I found. If it is, whether it's a sextile or out of sign conjunction, he actually is, his moon's in Aries and hers is in Pisces. So she would actually be supporting him there. But I really wish I had their birth times. So she got back to me and she was like, I go, what degrees of where your parents' moon's in? Because it could have been another one of those out of sign conjunctions. And she did get back to me and say that now I used too many examples here. Her father has the lower dignity, like David and Victoria Beckham, but David and Victoria Beckham, it's Capricorn Aquarius. This is Aquarius Pisces. So her father's, I can't remember which is which now, but her father's moon is like 15 or 17 degrees Aquarius, and her mother's moon is 15 or 17 degrees. I think it's 17 and 15. Oh, dang it. Anyways, it's a 2-degree orb, give or take. Could even be 1.5 degrees. Well, like if it's 15.5, like 15 degrees in 50 minutes and 17 degrees in 0 minutes, it could be like 1.2 degree orb. But yes, within a 2-degree orb, her parents, give or take 2 degrees, had a semi-sextile and they're married for 41 years. Now, she did say they had Mars square Saturn. You can, I mean, the only other example I was telling her I've seen of this is Tina Turner, her second husband, and I believe it was with Ike too. I know that Ike and her second husband, I did the Celebrity Synastry on this if you want to go find it. I'll link it later. They both had their Mars within like a couple of degrees. I think it's 2 to 4 degrees. I can't remember which sign. I think it's Sagittarius, squaring her Mars in, I can't remember which sign. And I think they both square her Saturn, but her and Ike did get divorced. And, you know, Mars squares can indicate physical violence, not always. So, you know, Saturn, so Alicia was saying, you know, I've heard from another astrologist, which is probably Jules Mayberry from Truth and Aspect Astrology, because I've heard her say this too. And I've even watched this video with Mars square Saturn. And she says, yes, you know, hard Saturn contacts can make a couple stick together despite the challenges, because Saturn is like for better or for worse, and there's no reward without sacrifice, and Saturn rewards you for sacrifice. That's why like your Saturn return often your life gets a little bit easier. It's a little harder in your early 20s. So, but I tend to find with Mars square Saturn, it's not a very pleasant aspect to deal with, and you're just going to be annoyed and agitated by the other person all the time. So if you have this with a parent, like I just looked last night, it was funny, I was laying there and all of a sudden my eyes went wide open when I was thinking about this, and something told me to look at my father and I's chart. I don't know why. It was like unrelated, and we had Mars square Saturn. So he would always kind of annoy me, you know what I mean? So then you think like, if you have this with a parent, which Alicia said she has this with her father too, and then you might be more prone to date people like this, and then you may be more tolerant of it or not, because especially if it's like your father figure as a woman, you may feel like that's sort of just part of a relationship, is just accepting that somebody's going to be annoying. And for me, like with my friend that I always bring up that I have this with, it's like he'll just, and I'll tell him too, he'll just like walk right in front, like I'll be walking in a straight line and I'm an Aries, so when I'm going forward, and he'll just stand right in front of me, like I'm going like 100 miles per hour, and he'll just like stand right in front of me until I'm like about to fall over and bust my head open, and I'll just be like so annoyed, and he won't even notice. And the longest time I thought it's because he's a Libra, but it's Mars square Saturn. So I didn't have the exact same experience with my dad. I just remember I think he was the Saturn person here, but my father was, which makes sense, right? The older person, and he would kind of treat me like that. Not like my father, we had Venus trine Neptune, so he loved me. I was his one and only child, but like idolized and adored me. But it's like, which is why I won't accept anything less from a man. And so people are like, oh, single relationship dating coaches, like Tony Gaskins says, you know, I am divorced. And Tony Gaskins even said that, like, at least if they've never been married before, not that what he says is gospel, you know, so having been married, that's why I'm such an advocate of marriage, even though I'm divorced, because I know the benefits of it. It's a whole institution of society. Maybe we'll get into that next week. I was going on a rant about it, about the 13th sign and how the media is deceiving everyone to try to throw you off. It's just like in Chinese culture, I've mentioned this before, where they say never to share your birth time. And because it gives people power over you, unless it's like a trusted astrologist. So yeah, there's a lot of power to it that the institutions don't, especially media, government, and religion, or no, media, religion, and education do active work to try to deter you from astrology. But anyways, so with that being said, I don't know, maybe government does too. I can't think of an example on how to apply it right now. Maybe that whole social security number thing would somehow tie into that conspiracy. I'm not too deep into conspiracy, but I don't know. Just depends where you are on the spectrum, what you would think of me. But anyways, I just want to say, yeah, like with my father, he was Saturn. He'd always kind of act like I was a little bit clumsy, and I'm actually very agile. But he'd just be like, kid, like, where are you walking, you know? So he might have felt that way with me, is what I'm saying. Like I was a little aloof at times. But with that being said, I did get a bunch of new subscribers this week because I did a bunch of shorts and lives, and I put out the Love at First Sight videos, and I noticed that I lost 3 of you yesterday. So that may have been due to my, Venus rant about 2s and 10s and all of that. So I just want to clarify that even though I was kind of using like looks-based examples, a 10 could be somebody with a heart of gold and who's very educated and, really took care of themselves and is a very adequate partner who would be very loving and supportive to someone. And so when I was saying like 2 and 10 and 8, I wasn't just basing it off looks. We were talking about value. So if I did say something in there to offend one of you, if you unsubscribed and you're still watching this because you're loathing about something I said, you can email me at rotation411 rotation411@gmail.com. If I did really hurt your feelings, I'd like to know. Maybe I can like retract it. I don't want to like wound or scar anyone. I did notice the last day or two the sun is in Scorpio. It's Scorpio is intercepting my second, rules my third. So it's getting on the cusp of my third house now. So it's a good time for me to do these lives because I'm probably not going to shut up, just like Libra season, Sagittarius season. That's my third house. Probably not going to be shutting up much in the next month, so I don't drive everyone crazy in my life. It's probably best I do come on here, but I might put my foot in my mouth because I go like 1,000 miles an hour because my Sagittarius, Aries, and my Sagittarius actually is not in harmony. There's a lot of disharmony there, but it's trining my 7th house and my Leo, which are in harmony. So I just have a lot of power. My most powerful house is my 3rd house, which is the house of communication, and it's ruled by the opposite sign. Gemini rules the 3rd house traditionally. My 3rd house is ruled by Sagittarius, which would be the opposite, the 9th house. So when it comes to like higher wisdom and knowledge, I'm very good at breaking it down and sort of teaching it, but at times I can be a little bit too general or sort of, usually when I check myself. So I was watching the Love at First Sight Part 2 video. I was reviewing it, because I had to edit it and put all the, so you guys could see and follow along with the study. And at the end of the study, it was saying like remarks, and it was saying, a better way to do this might be sympathy versus antipathy, and then also, attraction-based score. And I was incorrect there. And usually when I'm saying things off the cuff, because I am really intuitive, I go back and check it and I actually am correct. But sometimes I'm not. And sometimes I throw things out there, like I might say, oh, it's an exact conjunction, and I go back and it's like, I've been saying like all these people have this planet at 10 degrees Virgo. I'm pretty sure one of them is actually like 12 or 13 degrees. You know what I mean? So I kind of just throw it out there to get you the general idea. So if you go and look something up, unless I repeat it like 2 or 3 times, it may not be exactly dead on. But sometimes those mistakes are sort of like happy accidents, as Bob Ross says, and I'm like, oh, that was right, So like in the antipathy, sympathy thing, when I was saying that, it was actually saying you could do 2 scores, one based on attraction. Like, is this person, physically attractive to me, or did I feel a spark of, attraction? And antipathy, sympathy would be like, I find this person to be a nice person. So because And then the other thing I kind of got mixed up about in that video in the study was that the inquirer was the astrologist, and she was going out and just, I don't know if it was the people scoring her or she was scoring the people. That's where I think I got a little confused. But she was like going up, so it's like me, I'm a straight female, so if I went up to women and was rating them based on this, and men, and that was sort of something in the remarks also where I got a little mixed up. So that might be another reason I offended some of you. I was talking about this most recent guy that I dated and how he was, you know, trying to play on my insecurities, saying that he likes like pretty much every woman that's not my that's not like me. So I said, you know, he likes like lesbians, which might have sounded rude, like I am, you know, no, I work with clients, like nothing like that. I was saying it because it was just ridiculous that, you know, I actually think it's his own repression in a way, because he goes for women that are actually not interested in him, or he has some sort of wanting to like manipulate, or like, I don't know. It's his own weird little taboo thing, let's say. It wasn't anything to do with actual lesbians that I was saying. I was just saying that when it comes to Venus and Virgo men, because I dated one for 5 years also, because I was talking about that, and he had substance abuse issues. So it's like, here I was, someone trying to help him improve his life and get a job, and had invested my whole heart and soul into him, and he loved me to death too, and yet he was, you know, screwing around behind my back with like, I mean, you guys don't even want to know. It's like, but I'm not saying I'm better than these people. I'm just saying he didn't see my value, was all I was trying to say with that. And maybe I shouldn't put such personal stuff out there. And I'm sure if some of my clients that follow, like, have respect for me on the platforms, watch this, they're like, man, your life's a mess. Kind of back to the Tony Gaskins thing, like, should you follow a single relationship coach? Well, and then he says, well, if they haven't at least been married once, because people think that marriage is just a piece of paper, but let me tell you, it's a whole other entity. It's like kind of, let's just for time's sake say like synergy. The two become one. It's 1 + 1 is more than 2, basically. So unless you've been married and even divorced, and divorce is the most painful thing you'll ever go through. Or that I've ever gone through. And I even knew kind of the whole time that I didn't choose right. So it's kind of like a death and a loss. So I do feel like the fact that I don't settle and that I don't tolerate any BS from men, I am adequate to advise on these matters, and I do have the life experience, and I look at examples of all kinds of couples and study people. So, I mean, it's up to you to decide. I just hope that me being so transparent and honest and vulnerable and sort of an abrasive Aries way doesn't like make my clients question their judgment on me as an advisor. But, you know, to each their own. So I'm just going to be on here and be real and be honest. And like I said, if you have any like personal grievances with anything I said, I don't want to traumatize anyone. So, you know, feel free to write me at rotation411@gmail.com. Don't be writing me on there to get a personal reading. If you want that, go to rotation411@gmail is my, you know, if I said something that really, you know, struck a nerve at you and you just don't feel comfortable writing it in the comments, I mean, I would love to kind of go over that with you. Maybe it's my own ignorance. You know, the only sin is in ignorance, truly. So I would like to correct that if I, you know, am being offensive that way, because I try not to be political and things of that nature, even though some of my own beliefs are obviously going to kind of come out and have a flavor to things. But I do try to be as diplomatic as possible with my Libra rising, unless it's just really clear cut to me. And so but you know, if you want a personal reading from me, you know, tarot, your birth chart, anything like that cast, then it's rotation411.com. Don't inquire with me through email about personal readings. You can go order the packages on there. Or if you know me from one of the other platforms that I work on, you can find me there. The reason that I don't promote those platforms is that I pay a commission on those platforms because they advertise for me. And so I don't, and I think that's fair. I don't advertise for them because I pay them to advertise for me, but I also don't recruit clients from their platforms, if that makes sense. Some of my clients on those platforms have found me, have Googled me, have found me on my website and on, but very few and far between. And usually they're like clients that I really click with and resonate with, and they just happen to hunt me down. But I don't, on those platforms, I'm not promoting rotation411.com or even the YouTube channel. If I did, I might have more more subscribers. And just vice versa. I'm not going to be putting out what those platforms are, but I have very similar readings on rotation411.com. I'm not sure if I put it up yet, but I had a client this summer who I worked with through Instagram, like the Messenger and all of that, which I tried to do this various other ways, and it just gets kind of expensive. So I can't remember if I put the packages up yet or not, but if I haven't, I'm going to do it in like the next week, where you can actually get like live coaching with me. So it's like, and you don't pay per minute with those. You pay like a retainer, like if you want me for the whole week or something, or one reading. I can't remember if I actually got it up there or not, but it'll be coming soon if it's not up there. But for now, you can order, like just one tarot reading, and I'll give you a video response that's pre-recorded. Or you can, order your birth chart. And I usually do video response with that too, because I want to show you everything. Or I can do audio. I think I need to put a telephone one on there, because I've had readings like that from astrologists before I started working professionally, and I like that format as well. So I need to get on there and clean that up a little. But sometimes I'm ahead of myself. I might have already done that. So anyways, it's going to be real short and sweet today, you guys. I'll be back on Sunday evening. I might try to pop on here tomorrow evening, but I do have plans this weekend, and I have family in town, like I said. So I just cleaned up the guest room for them. So I don't know if I'll be able to actually use this room tomorrow, unless I like relocate. You never know. I might pop on tomorrow afternoon, but if not, I'll probably be on Sunday evening around 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about on Sunday, write it in the comments below, and I'll think about it over the next day or so. And if you want a personal reading from me, it's going to take, they take about 2 business days to be fulfilled, and right now, and birth charts and such is 7 to 10 business days. The birthday search is about the same, 5 to 10 business days, because they kind of get backed up, and then I have to take the time to do those as well. So, and then I also work on the other platforms. So anyways, you guys can see why I'm a little all over the place sometimes, but it's that Mars and Gemini. I'm a great multitasker, as long as it's directed at something. So, and anyways, I see 2 of you are in here. I'm not seeing any comments or anything. So I'm going to wrap it up. I just wanted to make an appearance today. Like I said, I had an hour planned, but I'm just wiped, and I've got to get dinner made for everybody that's coming in my family. So I'm sending you all lots of love, blessings, and light as always, and I will be on Sunday evening, if not sooner.